Welcome to The Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee. And today, this is a sequel, I'll say, but this is like the new generation. This is a sequel of my conversation with the Hot Sauce Artist Collective. This is part 2, Electric Boogaloo. You all are too young to get that reference. I'm sorry. I am an old person, but I want to welcome you all on, and I'll start off with Brenton, and feel free to just chime in. Give the fine folks your vital stats. Please introduce yourselves, your background, and describe your work.
All right. Thanks for having us, Rob.
Totally.
I guess I'll go first. My name is Brenton, a new member of Hot Sauce. We just joined in October of last year. Just joined Alpha, really great, successful summer with all his awesome projects and pop-up events. But just a little bit about me. Recently graduated from Tufts University in 2020 with a degree in digital art. A lot of my work is just really experimental work. So I'm really just trying new things with digital software and just weird things, weird ways to create really interesting abstract work. One way you could think about it is I like to just imagine if digital material, like files or videos or just code or something like that, has this organic property that could rot. So if you can imagine sort of decay and just decomposing things, just that and a digital mindset, which best describes my work. So I'm just constantly thinking of new ways to make really immersive visuals through interactive software, or just really compelling 2D images too. But yeah, that's a little dive into my work. I guess for a day job, I'm tech support at Micah. So if you see me there, I'm just chilling there, helping out.
Oh, I'll hit you up. Yeah. Tech support, Mike. Yeah. I'll hit you up. Yeah. There are always needs here in terms of tech. Kira, do you want to chime in?
Okay. Yeah, I also went to Towson, graduated same time as Brenton, and my major was art and design with a concentration in painting, drawing, and printmaking. And at the moment, I'm working in paintings and printmaking. I'm doing a lot of portraiture right now with a lot of focus on texture and layering.
Let's keep the party going. Who's next? Who wants to go next? I know Alpha wants to go last.
I can go. My name is Ayo. I go by Ayo. So I have no art background besides culinary art. I like to cook a lot.
Valid.
Yeah.
I went to Salisbury University. I graduated 2018 with a Bachelor's of Science degree in community health. So how did I find out about Hot Sauce? I know Alpha from a fellowship that I'm a part of. And then from there, he was telling me about it. I was just like, oh, I really I want to discover more art and things like that. So I thought this would be a great way to explore more of the art world. So this is why I'm here. But yeah, currently I'm an administrative assistant for a private mental health facility.
Now there was one.
I guess Hi, I'm Jen. I am a multidisciplinary artist. I tend to experiment with a lot of different things. But my background is mostly in painting, but I started to expand into installation and all sorts of different things. And I say that I'm my medium is anything and everything. I'm consistently inconsistent. So just whatever feels right, I graduated from Micah in 2021 with a master's degree. I got my MFA in community arts, and I met Alpha just around the Baltimore art scene. A couple of my friends and colleagues at Micah know Alpha, and I started going to Hot Sauce pop-ups, and I thought the work that they were doing was phenomenal. And I was like, yeah, if you ever need anything, I'm around. So that's kind of how I sort of got involved. I have too many day jobs to count, but two of the more prominent ones that I'm working on right now is I'm a public art consultant for the city of Laurel. And I'm working with the Greenmount West Community Center on a really important project called the Bell House Community Build. If you want more information on that, I'd be happy to provide it. But it's a great initiative, more public art focused. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you. Alpha.
Hello. hello. So I'm Alpha. I am one of the founders of Hot Sauce Artist Collective. So I study painting, drawing, and printmaking at Towson University. I graduated like 2019. So right now I am working as a full-time artist. So I make charcoal drawings. And if you haven't seen my drawings, check it out. I do have a solo show coming out. Shameless plug. So
you're kind of early.
Definitely check that out. Yeah. So like everyone said, we've been successfully like making like pop-up shows and events throughout the city for the last 2 years. And I'm just grateful to be, to have a new group who's very ambitious and very hungry just as much as I am, to just make Baltimore a cultural center. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Alpha. It's great to have you back in the place to be. So the way that I'm going to try to do this is a very kind of open forum or what have you, just so everyone has like a chance to basically get yourselves over, talk about your thing. So feel free, whoever wants to start off here, but I want to get this sense. So in terms of the what motivated you to pursue the style of art you're in, whether it be culinary art or what have you, what pursued you to what encourages you to pursue the type of art that you're working in, and maybe the themes in which you kind of explore regularly?
For me personally, I used to be a painter, and then when I graduated, I kind of like looked at the landscape of like the art space, and there's already a lot of painters, so I just wanted to stand out. And I do charcoal so well, it looks like a painting. Like a lot of people really do not know it. My charcoal drawings are drawings. And when, they get to see it in person, they're like, wow, this is like mind blowing because, like it looks like you're painting. So just like stepping outside of that box really pushed me to want to do charcoal. Yeah.
For me, I really enjoy cooking a lot. So just putting my creative side together. So, the food, and then being creative with how I plate. I'm not the best at plating, but I'm getting there. So that's why I'm kind of like into that whole field of culinary art. So
Ayo, what do you like to make though? Because I'm a food snob, and it's like, when you have like the teacher and they're picking on that one student, it's like you mentioned food, you mentioned culinary arts, and now you have fake Chef Rob Lee here. That's like so what do you? So how would you describe your like type of cuisine that you really are like, what, this is my signature thing. I like to like do like fish. I like to do vegan food. What is your kind of signature?
I like learning how to make cultural dishes a lot because I've learned learning about other cultures as well. So that I think for me, that would be my like signature things, like making different cultural dishes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've been focusing on like the duality within people a lot through my layering. Like I'll put a different eye on top of a face and animals, things like that.
So in that, what resonated with that duality? Like, it's like, are you a Pisces? Are you a Gemini? It's like, okay, boom. I love it. So you're coming up. I love it. Jen, you got anything?
Sure. I don't know how to explain. So like my mind is a minefield. There's a lot going on in my brain. And sometimes the only way that I can express that is through my artwork. And it's just as chaotic in my mental as it is in my work. So that kind of like, I could never like settle on one particular medium. I think that's kind of what drove me to try a bunch of different things and just do whatever feels right, just following my natural impulses. Mm-hmm. subject matter wise, I tend to focus a lot on like identity and just like the nuance of the world around you, just because all of those things make up who we are. And I feel like it's so important and it gets so overlooked sometimes in conversation. So I kind of want to like refocus and like bring it back to that kind of a thought, you know. So I like to make work that kind of reminds us of those spaces and places.
There's one. I'm looking at. You can't see me, but I'm looking at you, Brenton. What do you have?
For sure. I'm totally into digital art, but like, you know, the more computer aspect of it. I'm really interested in computers and technology. So just kind of seeing how they tick and like kind of what inspired, you know, the creation of certain technologies. One thing that's been just rattling in my brain for forever is just like, what are these machines like based off of, you know, because we can always like see like structural objects or like instruments or just like furniture that kind of derive from something else. And so, you know, there's probably a clear answer for like what these things are based from, but like I like to think about, you know, what they're related to in terms of like humans and you know, what kind of connection they like weird parallel they have with us, like, you know, what kind of computer parts do what, and like how do our like organs function, just weird stuff like that, weird parallels I'm trying to draw. But yeah, like some of that really inspired me to like learn about computer science and just like coding and what that's like. And it's just like a very interesting world of just what makes machines tick. So like, you know, but yeah, I guess like a main driver of like my work is just like discovering just parallels between like nature maybe and then technology. Maybe it's not nature, but just some other thing that I'm thinking about, but just trying to discover you know, what it means.
So you're seeking truth, and there is I think a unifying factor between nature and tech, and we kind of assume that they're not similar because but there are systems there. There are systems that lead to, let's say, vegetation growing. There are systems that lead to a script running and producing an output. I'm a data analyst in my day job, so and I immediately thought of this movie, Ex Machina, where it's like this person, they do a really good job on this person making her look like a machine and all of this. And then you find out in the director's commentary and the behind the scenes that all they did was just look at old like muscle cars for inspiration for that. And it's like something that is anachronistic, right? Like this doesn't fit this future technology or a person, but they connected those two things. So I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, people are seeing those connections in different ways. Like this is a human, not necessarily a machine. So I guess we'll throw this one back at you, then we'll bring it to the group. So in terms of like work that you've either worked on or work that you've seen, is there one that really sticks out as like a seminal piece that you're like, that's art right there. That's something that's creative, whether it's something that you've done, something you've experienced that you're like, oh, hell yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That makes me feel something. What comes to mind for you?
That's kind of a hard question to answer because like I'm relatively new. Like I've been an artist for like 3 years now. So like, you know, I'm still figuring out what works for me, but I do like have a piece that I really was felt strongly about. It was like, it was supposed to be part of like a BFA exhibit for Towson. So like my final piece for the school. But unfortunately COVID canceled the show. But like I had a really awesome installation plan where I was using technologies like an Xbox Connect and the software called Touch Designer. So, you know, I just use that as a way for motion capture, very organic motion capture, because it uses infrared. So it's like really good at seeing what's in front of it and like how to manipulate that. I was really excited for that piece. And, you know, I'm still experimenting with weird technologies like that. Yeah. But, yeah, that's one of the pieces that I've felt very strongly about that really kind of tied what I just talked about together.
COVID, just get in the way of you trying to be great.
I feel like COVID has been like a double-edged sword, though. You know, like when COVID first happened, a lot of like the gatekeepers and stuff, you know, kind of like like left their positions, because they didn't know what they were doing anymore. So it allowed a lot of, and I might get in trouble for this, we're talking about the gatekeepers.
Spicy alpha on hot sauce. What are we doing, sir?
Exactly. But, that opened a lot of spaces for emerging artists like myself to really step into those spaces and really show people like exactly what, young people are capable of. Because for a long time, like the art space has been like an echo chamber where it's just like, it's the same thing you're seeing and hearing every day. And so COVID has allowed like young people to really step up and show people like, yeah, we can do this and we can do it a little bit better too, if you really ask, in my opinion. But, but on the flip side, it's been really terrible when it comes to like people losing their jobs, family members and stuff like that. So it's been like really bittersweet, for me personally. And for me, just to answer the question you asked, the recent piece I'm working on right now, if you seen it, I posted on my Instagram. There's a young lady wearing, it's actually Monica, wearing a bunny mask. That was like a breakthrough because I was really struggling on that piece, I was just like, I'm going to tear this paper. I was so angry at that piece. And so I just took like a Conti crayon and just started like making marks until like something else like came out of it. And that's the beauty of like art making, is just like, there's no one way to actually arrive to your answer or arrive to what you're trying to say. And funny enough, like I used to make pieces like that in college where I used to like cover the figure faces. I saw like wearing this mask, and again, I'm touching on deeper topic, wearing these masks, trying to fit in and stuff like that. And so like it just brought me back to that space, and like what mask am I wearing right now in the season of my life, trying to like fit in or even like evolve or whatever. Am I not being myself? So that piece was definitely like a breakthrough for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of this book, or it may have been a short story that I read in high school. Like we all wear masks, and I ignored it. And then when I revisited, because I believe this thing where it's almost like Mercury retrogrades and such, it's like, oh, I think I'm good with this. You're coming back to it, right? You're not good with it, right? So it's like I thought I was good in understanding of this, presenting the representative, wearing a mask and trying to fit in that fake it till you make it kind of thing. And then I think as I was like an adult, I was like, I need to stop wearing this mask. This is how I'm going to, keep meeting people that don't really fit what I'm looking for and don't fit people that I can connect with. And once I took that mask off, I'm able to meet cool people like you all and have conversations and such, and really, fellowship and build bridges or what have you. So yeah, I think when you get rid of the mask or the idea of a mask, you can really do some powerful and good stuff. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about public spaces in terms of when it comes to art making. What's the importance of like public spaces when one is trying to make art? Because my understanding and what I've seen, like with hot sauce overall, it was just like this stuff is out there in the public for people to, kind of absorb and be a part of and see. And that's how a lot of people, I think, became aware outside of like Instagram and all, but became aware of what's going on. It's like you guys are in the community. So tell me the importance from your individual perspectives, the importance of seeing art, being around art in a kind of public space, but specifically in Baltimore and around.
Kind of jumping off of like, what we were kind of talking about before, right? With like gatekeeping and COVID and like these very uptight sort of spaces, right? Like one of the things that really resonated with me when I was first introduced to hot sauce myself was just how accessible it was. It was just out there. Like anybody could come through, there was just these young artists just doing it for themselves, like putting their work out there. The gatekeeping and that restrictive sort of notion of these like very, closed off, rigid white wall galleries like that just disappeared. It was just out in the open. Anybody could come through. I was really inspired by that and like moved by that. And I think that, kind of making lemons in a lemonade here, like, dealing with living in COVID, that gave us the opportunity to do that because at the time, we galleries weren't open like that. We didn't know that we could gather safely yet,
Right.
But now that we are starting to re-enter those spaces, I still think that there's such a relevant spot and a relevant space for work like this and displaying work like this and interacting directly with the community, because it's putting the artists and the artwork and the curators like in the hands of the community. Like we're reaching out and touching folks, you know what I'm saying? So like, I think that that's kind of at the heart of what it is that we're trying to accomplish here. And there's still such an important place for that and lots of room for that, that I guess like traditional art spaces may or may not be providing in quite the same way, where you can get direct feedback and input from the people who are, living and working and moving around you.
I like the way that you said that. And I think it's 130% valid in that. Well, that's a specific number, 130%, but I think it's like super valid in that I think artists for the people or what have you, but I think a lot of times when you have the gallery set up and it feels very exclusive, it feels there's only a chosen few that should be here, what have you. But when you're like posting up and having an installation that's outside in like West Baltimore, what have you, people are like, what's happening here? And then that's how you're able to have dialogue and conversation and like kind of have have that connection that I think gets missed a lot of times when you have that kind of gallery thing. You can't have at least the belief is you can't have a common person there. And I can speak on recently, I went to the first opening I've ever gone to, and I was like, I'm not sure I belong here. I think I need to put on a dress shirt or something. And I've interviewed most of the people that were there, the different artists that were there. So I definitely felt that vibe of I don't know if this setting really works for me and what I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to just enjoy the work and maybe talk with the artists or talk with different artists that are around here. And while I was able to do that, it just never felt quite comfortable.
Yeah, and just to add to that also, I feel like homeless people a lot of times do not really get to experience art, and I feel like art is something that everyone, no matter of your status, like your class or whatever, should experience art. When we started doing hot sauce, a lot of the places that we like set up our outdoor galleries, a lot of homeless people were around. And funny enough, like there were a couple of times where homeless people actually helped us like set up, and they were just grateful. They're like, man, like, even though I sleep right on that spot you are right now, but I'm grateful that you are here and you're able to like, my space feels safe, and you're able to make my like bring something else into my life that I'm not just like, like down or whatever. Like there was this other guy who actually, I posted the photo on my Instagram. He actually stood up and called his mother. It was like, Mom, there are like Black kids out here, like making art, like, and he was telling me, it's like, I always wanted to be an artist as a kid, but just a lot of things went wrong. I went to prison for so long, and, I just lost hope and stuff like that. So just like, making art like accessible to everyone is very important. Yeah.
Thanks. That's great. It's great to hear that. Anybody else anything to say before I move to this next question? And this will be my last major question. Then I'm gonna get to the fun questions, the ridiculous, like rapid fire questions. I hope y'all get ready for those. So being in this kind of collective, this setup, and being a part of the larger like artist community, emerging and otherwise, speak on the importance of working within a collective and working within a community locally. How has it been for you in terms of, has it been super collaborative? Has it felt like cliquish? Have it felt like, it's too many weirdos here? How has it felt for you specifically? Any of you, feel free to chime in here.
I mean, so far it's been really good. Baltimore is very amazing in the sense of everyone wants to work together. But, sometimes you do run into like gatekeepers and stuff like that. However, like the experience has been, I've experienced more on the good side than the bad side, to be like, like but it's a lot of like learning. A lot of people are learning in the process, so it's very good because, like people can be transparent with you as like, hey man, I don't know what I'm doing in this area, but we can figure it out together. And the good thing about working together as a collective with, these guys, there's a lot of stuff I don't know, and a lot of stuff I may not be able to do, because I'm just in a lot of places right now. Like, these guys can like literally like do all those things, and I can like go to bed knowing that everything will be taken care of. And like they're learning from me as much as I'm learning from them. There's a lot of things I don't know as a young man, so it's just like, and we've had this conversation on Instagram where I was like, as a young man, like there's a lot of things I'm realizing I don't know, bro, like, and I desire to learn. So it's just like having people in my circle, who just like we're still young, so just learning from them is very important to me. Yeah.
Strength in numbers. That's it's big. Yeah. I still, from every guest that I have on here, like, yo, tell me something I can use for my own thing. Like, give me those gems. So I'm being honest. I'm stealing. I mean, I'm old, but I'm stealing.
Yeah, I'll chime in next. I think the key word with what Alpha just said was learning, and like, that's all I'm really here to do. Like, I want to learn as much as I can. I'm just trying to soak up all the knowledge I can, and just tying around what we just talked about in our previous question is just like building communities and just seeing how they work and how we can share our knowledge, share our experiences with everybody else too. Like, it's very important that I try to do that coming off the heels of just a very like reclusive like winter last year. So, like, this is just kind of the community I've been looking for. So like having this opportunity has just been really great. Just learning every detail and like, just even like the most mundane tasks. Like I'm finding some value in that too. But I guess like as a collective, as us, like, the original question was more so like, how are we gelling with each other and how are we working with each other? I think it's been really great. Like, we're all pretty receptive people. We all seem to have very similar goals and a dedication level that's very apparent. So, I'm think we're all fitting in really fine, and we're all really just bonding through this experience. And every new event we do, every new series we do is just a learning experience, not only just in the art field but just ourselves and like what we can how we can best contribute to like the collective and how we can see it grow outside of our own involvement here. So it's always just thinking about how we're going to pass it forward. Well, that's mainly just me. Like, how am I going to make the next person get the most as much as I did? So that's kind of one mindset I'm thinking about.
So rapid fire. Because these are kind of geared to be around being one word answers, everybody's got to be on. So just get ready. Just saying. I've had people walk off the podcast. I've had people. Alpha, you didn't have any of these when we did our interviews, so you're.
I was lucky.
Yeah, you were lucky. You were lucky. So this first question, this is in terms of like what part of the day. When are you at your most creative? Is it morning? Is it evening? When are you at your most creative?
3 a.m.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. 3 a.m.
Yeah, I like ideas at night, then make stuff in the daytime.
Yeah, it's like the worst. Mine is the worst. It's like right when I want to go to sleep. So just nighttime.
I'd say like afternoonish.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So this has nothing to do with. Do you keep like a notepad or anything to kind of
Yes.
like jot that? Okay.
All the notepads.
Yeah,
Notepad.
and sometimes I forget what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah. That's the most fun when you have to like try to decipher what you wrote down. Like it's almost like you have like a dream
Like
journal.
remembering a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have 3 on me at all times. It's a journal, a sketchbook, and my phone. So it's like anything to just like
That's great.
brain dump somewhere.
Usually
I'm not that organized, so like whatever I come up with, I just like try to like remember every time, and it's the worst. But for some reason, it works. So yeah.
All right. Here's the next one, and this is, it's only one really right answer with this one, but I'll leave it up to you all. So, when you're working, when you're doing your work, when you're in that kind of phase, what are you listening to? Is it podcasts? Audiobooks? You got it right. Podcasts, audiobooks, or silence? Just whatever the real answer is. But thank you for saying podcasts.
I listen to Afrobeats.
Yeah.
As you should.
Chill hop.
As you should. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Brenton.
I'm listening to this genre called breakcore. It's pretty cool. It's like originated from breakbeat. A little bit of Baltimore Club. Oh, Baltimore Club. That's been so cool. I've been really obsessed with it lately.
It's a vibe, yeah.
So cool.
See, this is getting us high ratings in the Baltimore market right now. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. I think I like funk. And then sometimes every now and then I'll sneak in a weekend because, you know, I'm a sad boy on the inside. But honestly, I've been trying to detox because I'm like, I need to be healthy. I'm in love and all that stuff. I need to detox. So the weekend is no longer coming on my playlist. But every now and then he sneaks in there sometimes. But I will have podcasts, music, and white noise going on at the same time. It's like chaos.
I listen to podcasts at like 1.5. So like really fast. I could just get through them quicker. Yeah. It makes you focus. It's almost like when you're listening to like classical music or something when you're working, you're like, you have to key in on like, what's really happening here? This is a fun one. I got one more after this. This is going to be hard. Describe your work in one emoji. I know. It was 3, and I was like, there are 5 of you. So
Emoji with the tongue out, but like the eyes are crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The keyboard. I gotta. Let's see.
I like the little Galaga alien. It's like the purple, like pixelated one. Yeah,
that's fire.
Maybe the guy with his head exploding. That's like.
Based on what you said earlier, that does make sense. Like I got a lot going on. I got a lot going on.
That could be all of our first ones. If we all had 3, that'd be all that.
I like this one. I put it in the chat. I don't know how to describe it.
Oh yeah, that's another a good one.
I'll say
it's good, right?
Also the sleepy emoji because I feel like people sleep on my art, you know. But no, I'll say the sleepy emoji because I have to. When I get really tired and I'm half asleep, I don't know what it is. Like at 4 or 5 a.m., that's when like the creative juices just start flowing, and I'm just like, bro, I'm so tired, but it just starts like flowing. So I'll use the sleepy emoji.
I like the way you said that in the beginning. I'm going to steal that in the next conversation I have. Yeah, people are sleeping on my podcast. So this is the last one I got, and this is corny. This is word association, but finish the sentence. Without art,
there's nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah, I know. It's like
yeah, there will be nothing because literally the way how this word was created is through art. Like think about it, creation is art. So it's just like, yeah, there's like art is very important.
All right, you guys are in unison. I like it. You are gelling. Shows you a lot. You're gelling. So that is the conclusion of my questions. But I want to thank you all for being on this podcast. And 2, I want to invite you all to shamelessly plug. Alpha, you've already done it. Shamelessly plug whatever you.
At Zoe Gallery, we have a show right now, Genesis, through the rest of this month. Yeah, you guys should come see it.
Definitely go check that out. And we are working with Downtown Partnership and Visit Baltimore for the CIA tournament that's coming up. And we're going to be showing some really amazing artists. There is supposed to be like 5,000 or 6,000 people coming through the city for the tournament. So this whole showing is all about, you know, highlighting Baltimore and highlighting like, you know, like dope artists in the city. So that will be amazing. So if people want to come and check that out, all of the information will be posted on our Instagram. It's this Hot Sauce Artist Collective on Instagram, and we'll just come up directly. And my solo show is in April 30th at UB Blake Jazz Center. So pull up on that too.
So if there anything else, we can wrap up here. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. So the other project I'm working on on Instagram, it's at Bell House Community Build. All the information's on there. And then each of our individual Instagrams.
Oh, please.
I'll start. So I'm at Nichelle Mybell or at Jen Designs _. Either or is fine. Passing the baton.
I'm at artist Kira M.
My at is at BrentoBox, and the first O is a 0.
Yeah, mine's a little difficult, but I'll spell it out. Mine is at OMO. Is it underscore? Yeah, I think it's underscore. AYOSOLA. And I do have a food page. It's called Sweeter Than Honey. So you can check that out as well.
So, there you have it. I want to thank Hot Sauce Artist Collective 2.0, the new breed, for coming through.
I didn't share my personnel, but
please.
my personnel is art__nerd19. Made it when I was in high school, so I judged. So yeah, again, art__nerd19.
And we're all on the Hot Sauce page. So if it's hard to spell anything, just go there and click on all the things and follow all of the artists.
So thank you all again for coming onto this podcast. And I'm Rob Lee for the Hot Sauce Artist Collective, saying that there is art in and around Baltimore. You just got to look for it.